Let's talk about the legalities here. I mean, what do you make of the conversation right now around the Cowichan tribe's case?
I find it so frustrating. I find it frustrating as a lawyer. I find it frustrating as an Indigenous person. I find it frustrating as just, somebody with compassion for what's happened in history in this province. It's, the misinterpretation of what the decision says has been used to, I think, really seriously harm reconciliation efforts. It's also been used to misinform the public, to inflame the public, and that supports the government's case. The governments are the one that are appealing this, Richmond and the province and the federal government. They're all appealing this decision. And when they do that, having the public on their side helps them justify spending tens or hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars to say, we're not going to compensate you for the land that was taken, rather than just spend that money to deal with the situation and fix the problem.
Right. Okay, Mo, what's your read on just how the public meeting went in Richmond earlier this week and some of the fallout from that?
Oh, not good. Mm-hmm. I had a couple of friends attend because they were, I think rightfully concerned and they wanted more information. And these are normie friends. These are not super political friends. And so they went there and they said the first 20 minutes or so with the city's lawyer was fine when they were kind of making the initial presentation. And then they said it completely went off the rails once people started asking questions. Basically, the city continually, the mayor, Malcolm Brodie, kept deferring and say, well, talk to your MLA. And there didn't seem to be much of a comms plan or a preemptive understanding of the concerns that a lot of the residents would be bringing. And again, it wasn't residents just in this parcel of land. It was residents from around Richmond, within Richmond as well, who are, I think, rightfully concerned because there has been a lot of information and it is tough to make heads or tails of it, especially when there is also a lot of misinformation. So I think the city did itself a disservice in not being prepared. I think it did itself a disservice in just sending out those letters and not being prepared with information on their website either, because there was a lot of questions about whether this was real or not. And we've seen hoaxes even this week of people posting false information. So again, I don't think the city had a great plan and I don't think it went well at all.
Well, speaking of that information and the post you're referring to, there was the Quw'utsun Nation. They made a post on Facebook this week, and in part it reads, there is a fraudulent letter being circulated as if it were from the city of North Vancouver, possibly other governments, regarding Indigenous land and title. The letter mirrors the one that Richmond property owners recently received from the city of Richmond. This letter was not issued by the city of North Vancouver and not endorsed by Quw'utsun Nation. To Mo's point, this has some really unpleasant spin-off effects. What do you make of it?
Oh, I think this is being weaponized. The situation is being weaponized by people who want to harm Crown Indigenous relations, people who want to stop reconciliation. We've now seen people, there's a huge cry in this province for the government to argue extinguishment of Aboriginal title, despite the fact that all of the court decisions that have come from the Supreme Court of Canada on Indigenous litigation on Aboriginal title have said extinguishment is just not an argument you can make. It's not a viable argument. And yet now we're seeing this push to argue something that is not legally justifiable because people are perpetuating this misinformation, perpetuating these frauds, and using it to try to fuel anti-Indigenous sentiment.
Well, and I think beyond hoaxes and misinformation and political weaponization, you also see conflation of issues. So there are a lot of people, for whatever reason, who are upset at things like land acknowledgements, or they're upset about what their kids are learning at school when it comes to our history, and now they're conflating those issues with this. And so it's become this flashpoint of really gross grievance politics. And I think like I said, I think there are some fair concerns about what the Cowichan decision means, but we just can't even have this healthy conversation because everyone is getting, this weird information from all corners of the internet, basically.
Well, and again, earlier this afternoon on CBC as well, John Rowe, who is a senior research associate at the Angus Reid Institute, he was a guest on BC Today, and they at Angus Reid did a survey on how British Columbians felt about the Cowichan tribe's case, and here's a little bit about what he had to say to Michelle Elliott.
People who voted BC Conservative in the last election, they're much more likely to view it as a very serious issue. Take this court ruling and say, yeah, this has potential for widespread implications. About 9 in 10 of those who voted BC Conservative last year say that's the case. Comparatively, the still majority of those who voted BC NDP last year say it is a serious because it could impact private property rights, but it's a much smaller majority. It's only 54%, whereas 30% in that group say, yeah, it's not as serious as people are saying candidates.
Okay, that's John Rowe from the Angus Reid Institute. Mo, what do you make of it? What does this say about polarization in this province right now?
Oh, it says that we're greatly polarized. We know that the BC Conservatives have been quite openly talking about repealing DRIPA, despite divisions with their own caucus about how they feel about that. But no, I think that this is one of those issues that certainly splits along political lines or partisan lines, I should say, where I don't think it should. I think that, the public deserves just objective information about what's happening and, when it comes to property rights, what risks exist and what needs to be done. And I think, what needs to be done is a government that does go back to the negotiating table with a lot of First Nations. But we're not getting that. We're getting politics all the way down.
Okay, politics all the way down. I mean, when we talk about politics, let's turn our focus now to other provincial politics, Kyla. I mean, what went through your mind when you heard Premier Eby earlier this week not saying I want to go for it, but it's saying he wouldn't rule out a snap election over Bill 31?
I mean, I think now's the time to do it if he's going to do it. You've got all of this division within the right. You've got the complete chaos that is the Conservative Party, which is his sort of biggest foe politically right now, and they're in disarray. You have also, even though the NDP is kind of wearing this Cowichan tribe's decision, at the same time, they're easily able to point to the fact that the decision makers when the litigation was initiated were John Rustad and Teresa Watt. And so they have that in their arsenal for the worst thing that they've got going for them right now. Now is the time to do it, because as soon as they do it, they're going to get more seats because of the sort of chaos on everything else.
Are British Columbians ready for that?
No.
No, I'm not. That's what I was going to say. What do you make of it, Mo?
He has a majority government. What is he talking about that, he's willing to stake his government on this? Like, it's not a minority government that he's leading. So I'm a little confused. And honestly, I think
it's a slim majority.
It's a slim majority. But again, it's a majority nonetheless. With all respect to my colleagues in the press gallery, collective press and collective journalism here, the press gallery loves this stuff, right? Like every 6 months, they like to talk about election speculation. So I think they're feeling this a little bit. But the reality is, particularly one BC MLAs and the independent MLAs that are currently sitting, I don't think they want to go to an election. I think they will abstain from votes, maybe even vote with the government just to avoid that situation altogether. So again, it's fun to kind of speculate, but I really don't see this happening this year. But maybe in the spring, maybe next year in the fall, who knows?
Well, and what about John Rustad in his position? I mean, as far as early elections
he wants to go.
Well, he said, let's dance.
He's trying to shore up support. So of course he wants to go to an election.
Is he, okay, I'm looking at your furrowed brow.
Foolish. It's foolish. But, I have to question the judgment of a lot of decisions that he's made. So this seems to be on track. Just foolish decisions. I think now is not the time for him to come out in front of the public and have the public vote on his leadership.
Oh, okay, so
the more we're talking about an impending election, the less we're talking about John Rustad's, I would say, failed leadership, right? So of course he wants an election.
Okay.
He would love this.
Okay. Well, let's have a little bit of fun here. Are you both baseball fans?
Oh, well,
I mean,
for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, bandwagon. You're a bandwagon fan. What do you make of just how this has galvanized Canadians? It's amazing.
Listen, I did not know who Vladdy Guerrero or Alejandro Kirk was like 2 weeks ago, but now I'm their biggest fans. I love it. It is bringing the nation together, and it's a lot of good fun for all that's happening in the world. I think this has been a great gift to our nation.
Right, and Trey Savage just flows off the tongue now. It's like, how do you pronounce this? Who is this guy? Now he's a hero. It's just amazing. What do you make of it?
I mean, I think this has been one of the most exciting World Series that have existed in a long time. There's tons of records being broken. I mean, the 2 home runs in the first 2 pitches last night, that's never happened before in Major League Baseball. Yeah. You have the rags to riches story of Trey Savage. Like, it's got all the makings of like a movie. And I anticipate there probably will be a movie about the 2025 World Series someday in the future.
Wouldn't you love to be in Toronto tomorrow night?
I looked for tickets, but I could not afford them.
You know who's going? Justin McElroy. So we are going to talk to him on the show tomorrow afternoon. That is going to be great. I hope he can hear us if he's sitting in the stands. So that's something to look forward to. Something else we're looking forward to tomorrow. Halloween, of course. So Kyla, what is a costume that you are hoping to see this year?
Ooh, probably something like really super related to like TikTok brain rot. I want to see something that you would only understand if, like me, you spend 6 hours a day scrolling TikTok. If it's not something you'd recognize, if you're not doom scrolling, I don't want to see it at my doorstep.
But then you have to explain your costume. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. A lot of people are going as characters on TV series or a TikTok or whatever, and you have to say, who? What was that? I don't have that streaming service. I don't get that. You think?
There's so much content out there now, no matter what costume you're wearing, you're probably not going to resonate with everybody.
That's a very good point. That's a good point. What about you, Mo?
First of all, can you tell the partial costume that I'm wearing right now?
No, is it Harry Potter-esque?
No.
Somewhat? No? Okay.
So I was looking for
Gryffindor stripes or something.
Close.
I don't know.
I was looking for a character that wears a sweater, because I wear a lot of sweaters. This is Freddy Krueger.
Oh, is it?
It's a sweater. I don't have the
That's a stretch. That's a stretch.
This is real. I was outside and someone was like, is that Freddy Krueger?
Really?
And I was like, yeah. And it was like, great catch. People know.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's you, but is there another costume that you think is going to be sort of the costume of 2025?
I feel like Kyla took mine. I was thinking about something that, like TikTok brain rot, that it's like something that it's so niche that only the kids and old people
You're not
like
going
us
for
that are on.
K-pop demon hunters.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah.
You know what would be a great couple's costume? 6'7".
I've seen a lot of that.
6'7".
6'7".
That'd work. Listen, happy Halloween to you both.
Happy Halloween.
Nice costume,
Thank
Freddie.
you.
Love that. That's our Soapbox Social panel. Kyla Lee is a criminal lawyer for Acumen Law Corporation, and Mo Amir is the host of the This Is Vancouver podcast. There's your music. Got your music.